What's going on, team? What's going on, team? Kendo, you still here? Alright, I'm deafening. Give me 1 second, guys, while I check my messages real quick. My bad. Give me 1 second, guys. Let's go back to here. Make sure that you guys can hear me. Test, 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 test. Perfect. I can hear myself. What's going on, team? Welcome to tonight's isolation session for March 11th, 2025. Let me also go ahead and post the link on Twitter. I haven't done that. Copy link. Perfect. Gonna give everybody 2 minutes to join. We'll start at 7:05. I'll give everybody another minute here to join. What's good, Mr. Mike? Big man. What's good, my brother? Welcome, welcome. Hope everybody had a great day today. Hope everybody had a good trading day. I know we did this morning. Very perfect. Very picture perfect day. I had a one-on-one session like an hour ago, and I kind of already did the isolation session while I was in that call. So we're pretty much gonna go through this today pretty quick. Shouldn't be longer than 30 minutes, to be honest. Everything's already marked up, but we'll do the same thing. We'll go to the daily time frame, talk about the daily time frame, where we're at, what we're looking for. Do the same thing on the 4-hour. Do the same thing on the 30-minute. We're gonna be going over the pairs that you see on the right-hand side with the red flag next to their names, starting off with AUDUSD, finishing off with US oil. We will be going in order from the top to the bottom. But again, as always, if you guys have any questions or any other pairs you guys want me to go over, whether or not they're on our list, let me know. For the people watching the recording, if you guys have any questions, feel free to message me. Make sure you message me with the timestamp as to where your question is. For example, if you have a question about AUDUSD, be like, hey, AUDUSD on the 7-minute mark when you talked about this, this, and this, what's your question? I'll answer it. We'll hop on a one-on-one call if you need it, or I'll just message you, whatever is easier for you. And then that way, I could go back into the timestamp, listen to what I said, give you guys the explanation. For those guys watching live, I appreciate you guys. Welcome. If you guys have any questions, again, feel free to ask any questions. Feel free to stop me if I'm going too fast, if I'm going too slow. If you need another example or something else, just let me know. I'm not gonna bite, I promise. Again, a question that you might have is probably a question that somebody else has. Remember, a lot of people are very shy to ask questions, so it's very good to ask questions. Just gonna give everybody another few minutes here to join because I posted the link a little bit late to the Discord, but we'll start here in a few minutes. I'll give everybody till 7:07, 7:08. Sorry, I'll give everybody another 2 minutes here, and then we'll get started. Any questions before we start, Mike? Any questions? Any pairs? Since you're the only one here right now. We have a few pairs for tomorrow that look like they should be pretty good. AU looks pretty good for tomorrow, but I'm still not gonna say nothing about it. No pairs, no questions. All right. Again, the only pairs we're really not gonna do a complete breakdown on is gonna be US30, gold, Bitcoin, and oil. So all the other pairs we should be getting through them pretty quickly today. Shouldn't take us longer than 30 minutes or so. Give everybody another 40 seconds, 45 seconds or so, and then we'll get started so we don't just sit here for the first 20 minutes of the stream just waiting. But been tweaking about the MMP, bro. To be honest, like how back in price should I look to start looking for peak high, peak low? That's honestly like you don't have to go that far back, bro. To be honest with you, like even to make it more simple, bro, just go into the streams anytime I'm doing this and just look at the most current ones. If we were on MT4, MT5, I'll just say MT4 because MT4 is the only one that I've used. I never really used MT5. If we were on MT4, I would say go back the last 10 years, right? But obviously, you can't do that here on TradingView unless you pay for the subscription, right? There are some pairs that you can go back 10 years, and you know, especially this one. Like for AU, we could go back to 1992 where we have the first candlesticks actually printed, right? But right here we could see it clearly, right? We have peak high, right? You had the first push. Well, this one didn't really have a nice consolidate. This would be in the 4-hour time frame, right? So you had boom, 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 right? And then you had the first push, right? Second push, the third push. And then again, same thing here. This would be on a lower time frame. This would be on the 1-hour, 4-hour time frame. The peak high, boom to peak low. Right, from peak high to peak low, we're looking for peak high. Boom, this peak high was broke and then went right back down. Boom, all the way down until this low. Right, this low broke this low. Right, and then the same thing. This is where we started marking it off from 2020. Right, from peak low, boom, we went up. Obviously, this would be the COVID era of trading, which obviously the market conditions changed up. Right, and then price started going back down again from this peak high to this peak low. Same thing, back down to the bottom. So just go back as far as you can. Like you don't have to make it that, you know, you don't really have to make it difficult for yourself. Like as long as you can see present time, where are we right now, that's really all that matters. If you can mark up where we're at right now, then everything else before this is gonna be simple to see as well. Right? So mark up USDJPY, bro, is that you're also marking pairs that really don't make any sense. You know what I mean? Like you're marking up pairs that don't really have structure. Right? Like this again, the COVID era of USDJPY was 2019, 2020. We didn't really do anything. Right? This is why I don't even have USDJPY marked. This is like kind of really the same thing with GJ. Right? GJ is kind of very similar to USDJPY when it comes to this. Right? You're looking at pairs that don't make sense. That's why I was telling you yesterday. Like try to mark up pairs that make sense. And again, the blueprint is here. It's just mark up the ones that we do on the isolation session. You don't have to make your life 10 times harder. Just mark up the 10, 14 pairs that we have on our list, and that's it. That's really all you have to do. Right? It's the same thing with like USDCHF. Right? USDCHF is a ugly ass pair. There is no real market makers pattern here. Like price has just been consolidating from 2011 all the way to 2020. You see what I mean? Like don't make your life more difficult than it has to be. Just mark up the pairs that you see that we do on the isolation sessions, right? Mark up the pairs that E does in the isolation sessions. That way it just makes it more simple for you. Like a lot of these pairs, again, a lot of these pairs that you see that I have off, like NZDCAD, right? NZDCAD's not a bad one. Structurally does not look bad, right? But again, when we go back into before 2020, price was consolidating from 2013 all the way till 2020. We don't really have any clean market makers pattern here on the daily time frame. Right? Again, if we were on MT4, this would be a completely different story because we would see market makers pattern on the 1-hour time frame, we would see it on the 4-hour time frame. But on TradingView right now, the pairs that we could see really on the daily time frame that makes sense for us to look at it that way because again, we can't go back as far as we would want, especially on the lower time frames. Just mark up the pairs that we have on the isolation session. And those really should be the only pairs that you're looking at. Because again, while we do the isolation session, while we do the live trading session, while we do the weekly market breakdown, you should be on your pairs, updating your pairs as well. Right? You should already have your charts marked up and updated before we do the isolation session. That way when you watch the isolation session, you see what you did wrong and you change it on your charts. But just don't make your life more difficult than it has to be. Just update. Just do the market makers pattern on the pairs that we have here. AUD, USD, EA, EU, ECAD, GA, GCAD, GJ, GU, US30, USDCAD. You don't have to worry about ZAR. You don't even have to worry about US30. You don't have to worry about ZAR. You don't have to worry about gold, Bitcoin, or oil. If you want to just do the Forex pair, just do these Forex pairs. And that's it. And I don't need all pairs to make exactly. You only need a few pairs, right? If you want to just do one pair, you could do it on one pair. But again, you're gonna be looking for one entry on one pair. You're not gonna have that entry every single day. That's why it's always better to mark up. Again, the reason why me and E handpicked these pairs, not only because of ADR, right, but because the market maker's pattern makes sense on these pairs. All the other pairs do not have a valid market maker's pattern. A lot of these other pairs are just consolidating. They don't have enough volume. There's no volatility to it. So again, just don't make your life more difficult than it has to be. Just mark up the ones that we do on the session. Alright, we'll get started here now. I'll give 7:15, I guess. Now I'll give everybody till 7:15. Give everybody another minute, and then we'll get started. "30 seconds. Alright, let's get started. So again, I already kind of updated my charts, so I'm just gonna skim through these. We're in A2, right? We're looking for that third and final push to the bottom. We know that we're at the bottom of our zone of consolidation, so not the best spot to look for a trade. Again, remember, we still have this gap at the top of the market, right? So the two things that we're looking for, again, same thing that we've been talking about for the last couple of days on AU. We're either going to look for price to start breaking these highs and give us the push to the top side to fill this gap to then start the downtrend push, or this is where we're going to start seeing price make lower lows and lower highs to continue the downtrend push. Right now on the daily time frame, we don't have any continuations. On the 4-hour time frame, all we have is a week of counter rise, so no continuations. Right, what we do have still is a 4-hour engulfing candle when price gave us this lower high here. Right, internal structure, we have lower lows and lower highs. Right, lower lows and lower highs. However, on the 30-minute time frame, we're still trading between higher high, higher low, and higher high. So again, right now for this trade is a very risky trade to look at, because again, could this have been the higher low to continue into a higher high? Yes. Could this have been the higher low to continue into the higher high? Yes. Right? So right now we're in a situation with AU that we're in a spot where market structure isn't on our side, right? If the 30-minute time frame, if we would have been trading lower low, lower high, lower low, and this would have been a lower high, then yeah, right? If the 30-minute time frame would have been lower low, lower high, lower low, obviously this would be the trade lower high to go into the lower low. But the fact that we don't have that, the fact that price is still just giving us higher highs and higher lows, makes this trade very low probability, right? It makes no sense to take this trade here, right? So at this moment, we're still respecting the engulfing candle. We're still sitting here, right? Lower time frames, I would love to start seeing lower lows and lower highs, which we did in the beginning of Asia session, right? At the end of New York session, going into London, into Asia session, we had the lower low change of character, lower high, right? And then price went down and gave us the lower low. Oh, I'm sorry. We had higher high, higher low, higher high, and then price here gave us a change of character, right? Gave us the retest, lower high. Price came down, gave us a lower low, lower high, lower low, and then now price is trapping traders again, right? Making higher highs and higher lows. So right now for AU, just got to be patient. This is going to be a pair that I'm going to be looking at again during the NY session, the NYC session. If we could get a 30-minute engulfing candle, if we could get a 15-minute engulfing candle, even if we could get a 1 hour engulfing candle, this would be a nice pair to continue to look for a continuation 4th day variation back down to the bottom, right? So right now, structure is the only thing that's messing this up, but again, we'll keep a very close eye on it. We'll see if price wants to continue this downtrend push during the NYC session. A lot of these pairs too are just very simple, right? Just really not trading it. So again, this is just going to be a quick session just based on market structure for a lot of these pairs. EU, we finally got the break of structure of our zone of consolidation, so we're finally starting that level 3 push to the top side. Right now we're at a higher high, and again, I don't want to take buys at a higher high. After a higher high, I want to see a pullback. I want to see a higher low. Right, we had 2 weeks of rise, this week being the 3rd week. Price already gave us that 3rd week push, so again, there's really nothing here to look at, right? And we already had a 372. After 3 days of rise, we know the market's either going to move sideways or go down, so EA is already a pair that I know I could turn off. I'm not going to be looking at for tomorrow, right? EU, first zone of consolidation, we still don't have that break of our top, so we're still stuck in this zone of consolidation. We still have that gap at the bottom of the market, very similar to EA. I didn't talk about EA's gap, but we still have this gap. So what I'll be looking for is for price to give me a pullback down into this gap to fill the gap and then start to push back up to the top side. Very similar to EU. I want to see price give me a pullback to fill this gap to then continue the push to the top side. Right, on the 4-hour time frame, no continuations. We just have a week of rise. Perfect. If this week finishes on a 2nd week push to the top side, then we know next week we could start looking for another trade on EU. And on the 30-minute time frame, still making higher highs and higher lows. No continuations just yet. So EU is still one that I'm going to keep on the watch list to look at for tomorrow, but I'm not super active on it as of yet. EURCAD, very similar to EA. Right? We were in V1, we're in the first zone of consolidation. We were looking for that break of structure. We got the break. And again, we're at a higher high. We're at the daily high, we're at the 4-hour high, and we're at the 30-minute high. After a higher high, I'm looking for a higher low. Right? We're looking for the pullback. This is another pair that has a gap at the bottom of the market. I'm looking for price to fill that gap up before we could continue the push to the top side. We had 2 weeks of rise, this week being the 3rd week. Price already gave us that 3rd week high, so I'm no longer expecting price to continue the push to the top side this week. And again, we have 3 days of rise. After 3 days of rise, the market must chop or drop, right? Move sideways or go down. So EURCAD is another one that I already know I could turn off going into tomorrow. GA, very similar, same thing, right? We finally got the break, we got the retest, right? Out of V2, out of the 2nd zone of consolidation. Now we're starting that 3rd push to the top side, right? Again, we're at the higher high. No continuations on the daily. On the 4-hour, we have 2 weeks of rise, this week being the 3rd week. Price already gave us that 3rd week high, so I'm no longer looking for price to continue the push to the top side. And we already had a 372. Again, after 3 days of rise, market must go down or move sideways. So GA, I already could turn this one off for tomorrow as well. GCAD, same exact thing, guys. Same exact thing. We were in V2, 2nd zone of consolidation. We had the break of structure. We're at the higher high. We're at the higher high of the daily time frame. We're at the higher high of the 4-hour time frame, and we're at the higher high of the 30-minute time frame. We had the 3 weeks of rise. We know we had a gap on the 2nd week, right? We had 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, right? This week, price gave us another push to the top side, gave us another higher high. 30-minute time frame, same exact thing. 372. We had the 3rd day today. After 3 days of rise, the market must move sideways or go down. So right now for GCAD, again, this is another pair I could just turn off. We already know we're not looking for anything going into tomorrow. Did GJ give us that bottom wick? It did not. Okay. Now, GJ. We're in peak high territory. We're in the highest point in the market. We're still trading within our higher highs and higher lows. But now price for the last couple weeks, last couple months, we've just been stuck in the zone of consolidation, where price is rejecting lows, rejecting highs, rejecting lows, rejecting highs, rejecting lows. We still don't have a break of structure. All of these are just testing candles, right? Going into the 4-hour time frame, we have 2 weeks of rise, this week being the 3rd week. Perfect. Could we still be expecting price to give us that push to the top side? Absolutely. Right, so what do I want to start seeing now on GJ? I want to start seeing engulfing candles. I want to start seeing lower time frame, higher highs and higher lows. And right now, even on the 30-minute time frame, right, let's delete this. I was doing this in a session that I did earlier. Right, on the 30-minute time frame, we know that we're trading between lower low, lower high, lower low. This is where price gave us a change of character, higher high, and we're trading between this 30-minute high and this 30-minute low. Everything in between this high and this low has just been price moving sideways, breaking down, moving sideways, breaking up, right? And then again, now that we broke up to the top side, now we started making lower lows and lower highs again. We don't have any continuations. We don't have any engulfing candles. Right now, the only thing that we have is really internal structure telling us what price wants to do. And again, at this point, we know we had lower low, lower high, lower low, change of character, higher high, higher low, right? Price came up, all of this, higher high, right? Higher low, higher high again, right? So again, at this moment for GJ, we're pretty much, we're trading in a very weird spot for GJ. So tomorrow morning, this is usually a pair that moves during Asia and London sessions. So during the NYC session, if we end up getting an opportunity to look at GJ and to trade it, then perfect. We'll take the opportunity. If not, then it is what it is. We'll have to go on to the next pair, right? But GJ is looking good. This is still a pair that gave us that push. Let me go ahead, and I forgot to write this down on the watch list on the Discord. Give me 1 second while I do that. Daily watch list. 03/12/2025 watch list. AUDUSD 4th day drop variation. EURUSD. Not looking at anything on EURUSD. GJ, we're still looking for that 3rd week high. JPY, 3rd week high. Perfect. Now for GU, we had the break of structure of our V1 first zone consolidation. We had the higher high, higher low, right? No continuations on the daily time frame. We do have a daily engulfing candle. On the 4-hour time frame, we had a little change of character, right? Technically, could we say that this is the change of character, higher low, break of structure, higher high? We can, but I'm not going to mark it as that since this isn't really a significant pullback on the 4-hour time frame. No continuations, but right now on the 30-minute time frame, right, what we do have is a zone of consolidation, right? We had the break of our top of our zone of consolidation here. We had a nice little break. Now we're looking for a pullback, right? If we could get a pullback, and again, level 2, we're looking for price to bounce off the 200 EMA. If we could get a pullback into the 200 EMA here on the 30-minute time frame, then perfect. That'll be our entry zone, our entry, our point of interest to look for an entry to continue the push to the top side, right? So GBPUSD, we'll write that down on our watch list. GBPUSD, looking for a continuation going long. Any questions, guys? Again, just let me know. Again, we're going pretty quick because I already kind of updated my charts, but we'll go on from there. Again, US30 is not a pair that I'm going to be doing the breakdowns on the isolation session, but we finally got the change of character down to the bottom. Again, is this change of character the confirmation that price is going to start pushing down to the bottom? No, right? This change of character could just be an inducement to the lows to continue to go high. And again, we still have these gaps at the top of the market, so right now we just gotta wait this one out and see what price wants to do. Right, on the 4-hour time frame, no continuations, but we could still see price making lower lows and lower highs. And on the 30-minute time frame, we have 2 days of drop, but again, we had a gap on the first day of drop. We have a gap on the second day. The third day doesn't have a gap, but we do have a gap on the second day that resets the trend. Could we still mark this as a 372? Of course, but again, we're making lower lows, lower highs, and lower lows. Where are we right now? We're at a lower low. Not only are we at a lower low in the 30-minute, we're at the lower low of the 4-hour, and we're at the lower low of the daily time frame. Again, everything is color coordinated. The gray box is the daily low, the blue box is the 4-hour low, the 30-minute box is the red, right? And vice versa. The 30-minute high is red, 4-hour high is blue, daily highs are gray. So the fact that we're trading at a lower low, do I want to continue to see price making lower low, lower low, lower low, lower low, or do I want to start seeing price making lower low, lower high to then continue into a lower low? Right? So right now for US30, Still gonna put it on our watch list, but we'll continue to monitor. We'll continue to monitor this tomorrow. US30 372 going short. USDCAD. We're in peak high territory. Nothing on the daily time frame. On the 4-hour time frame, we have 3 weeks of rise. On the third week, gave us a rise drop. Could be expecting price to give us that 4th week high to the top side, right? And on the 30-minute time frame, we had 3 days of rise. On the third day, gave us a rise no net. However, not really expecting this 4th day push to be given because the pullback that we had towards the end of the session was very, very steep. So this, again, remember that USDCAD and US30 move opposite of each other. The fact that I'm not really expecting price on USDCAD to continue to push up because of how steep this pullback is, and the fact that we could see that we're trading at a lower low on US30 and tells me that price wants to push up to the top side, is already giving me in hindsight, right? It's giving me a vision of what tomorrow looks like, that we might not get this push to the top side on USDCAD, and is giving me that for US30 that price isn't going to continue to push down to the bottom. However, we're still going to look at it, right? I'm still going to put this on our watch list. We'll still wake up tomorrow and we'll continue to look at this. USDCAD 4th day and 4th week variation going long, right? USD ZAR daily time frame, we're in V2. We're in the second zone of consolidation, looking for that third and final push to the top side. Still have a gap at the bottom of the market, so still making lower lows and lower highs in the 4-hour time frame. And in the 30-minute time frame, we had the 3 days of rise. On the third day, gave us a rise drop. But again, very similar to USDCAD, the fact that the pullback was so steep down to the bottom, I'm not expecting price to give us that push to the top side. We still have this engulfing candle, but again, the fact that the pullback that we had was so steep, I'm not really expecting this engulfing candle to even work out. Again, the first thing I want to see on USD ZAR nonetheless is for price to come back down to fill this gap, to go back down to the bottom of the zone of consolidation, and this is where I'll start looking to take my trades to continue to see price push up to the top side. Right, and then gold, Bitcoin, and oil, I don't really do the breakdown on streams once again, but I'm just going to go through it for the people who like to look at it so you guys can see exactly what it is that I'm looking for. We have 2 months of rise. This month I'm still expecting price to push up to the top side. No continuations on the 4-hour. On the daily time frame, we do have a daily engulfing candle. We can see price still hasn't tapped into it, looking like price wants to do that. Obviously would have loved to see price push a little bit lower to fill this gap and then start pushing to the top side, but this is what we have on gold, right? Price is moving sideways, gave us a little break inducement of the lows, didn't really give us a clean break of structure, was just testing candles, never gave us the break of structure, and then came back up. So could we treat this as a type 1 pattern? Definitely, right? So gold is definitely one on my watch list going into tomorrow. XAU USD, looking for continuations. Going long. Bitcoin daily time frame, we had price give us test until here, gave us a break of the lows, still making lower lows and lower highs. What's good, Mr. Wade? Welcome to the stream, my brother. No continuations on the 4-hour time frame, right? Didn't even give us a break, was just testing candles of the lows, making lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, right? Equal lows, as we would say. And then on the 30-minute, we had 3 days of drop. After 3 days of drop, today we were expecting price to move sideways or go up, and we ended up going up, right? And we're trading between lower low, lower high, lower low. This is where price went up and gave us a change of character, higher high, and then price went down and gave us a change of character, lower low, right? So we're trading between this 30-minute low and this 30-minute high. And then last but not least, US oil, A1, first zone of consolidation, looking for that second push to the bottom. We're at the bottom of the zone of consolidation, so not the best spot to look for a trade. Still looking for a pullback to be given on the 4-hour time frame, right? And we know that we have a 30-minute time frame engulfing candle, still following structure, lower low, lower high, lower low, right? Price went up and gave us a lower high, failed to give us a new low, right? Induced the lows and started to push back to the top side. So right now for oil is again just one of those pairs that we have to take a step back in, not structure is not too clean, but we'll continue to monitor it. But that's pretty much it for today, guys. Again, I know it was a pretty quick session, but as you guys can see, a lot of these pairs are either in their higher highs or they're at their lower lows. So we just gotta wait for structure to build up again so we could continue to look for some trades. But any questions, any pairs you guys want me to go over, anything you guys want me to explain again, let me know. If not, that's pretty much it for today, and we'll be back again tomorrow morning for the live trading session. Same time as today, 6 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Eastern time for the live trading session, and then tomorrow, isolation session from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Any questions at all, let me know. Any other pairs you guys want me to go over, anything you guys want me to explain again. Anything at all, anything at all. Give you guys a minute here. Looks like you guys are good, no questions. Are we sure? No questions? I'm about to open up my Duolingo, man. Alright, no questions? Perfect. Hope you guys have a good rest of your night. Let me check the Discord just to make sure we don't have any questions on the Discord. Let me post this, the watch list. Posted the watch list. We're looking good. No questions in Discord. Okay, perfect. No problem. YouTube chat, no questions. Alright. Hope you guys have a good rest of your night. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Peace out.